How's it going, guys? Here we go. This is day two of the Ivan Read Aloud. We're going to recap a little bit first. I always like to do that before we start reading the next section, is to kind of go through, literally skim back, flip through. That's an awesome strategy and skill to have, is to be able to go back and find something in the text or flip through a little bit and realize, like, oh yeah, I remember that. It kind of helps reset your brain to be back on where you should be, right? It's like a little bookmark, right, where you pull it out and be like, oh yeah, I remember what's going on, and then it helps you dive back into the story, right? It's kind of like a little recap that plays before a TV show starts, or and in case you missed it, kind of thing, right? So if I click, used to be on the computer. If I flip back a little bit, we went to the glossary yesterday with some words that Ivan wanted us to know. My favorite one was probably, I don't know, the grunt or the meatball, maybe. Maybe the 9,855 days is another one of those words in there. But we met Ivan a little bit, told us where he lived. He described his domain or his area, his territory he lives in. Glass walls and then a cement wall, too. He described some things he had in it. He described some of the people that also live at the mall or live at the big top mall and video arcade with him. Everything from rabbits to seals. Well, there used to be a seal. To the elephant Stella, his best friend, and Bob the dog. And it kind of went through that. Mac is the person that runs the place. Julia and her dad come at night and clean. And he loves Julia, right? That was a girl, 10-year-old girl that he said he really thought was a great ape like him. Was an awesome girl. And the last thing we talked about was him getting a crayon from Julia. And that's when he first started drawing. And they said now he sells his artwork now. So Max sells it. I'd like to buy an Ivan drawing. I don't know about you, but that'd be pretty sweet. All right, so we're going to start on page 19. So if you're with me in the book, here we go. If not, if you're just listening, or you're reading by yourself, or you're reading with me, here we go. Shapes in clouds. I think I've always been an artist. Even as a baby, still clinging to my mother, I had an artist's eye. I saw shapes in the clouds, and sculptures in the tumbled stones at the bottom of a stream. I grabbed at colors, the crimson flower just out of reach, the ebony bird streaking past. I don't remember how much about my early life, but I do remember this. Whenever I got the chance, I would dip my fingers into cool mud and use my mother's back for a canvas. She was a patient soul, my mother. Imagination. Someday I hope I can draw the way Julia draws, imagining worlds that don't yet exist. I know what most humans think. They think gorillas don't have imaginations. They think we don't remember our past or ponder our futures. Come to think of it, I suppose they have a point. Mostly I think about what is, not what could be. I've learned not to get my hopes up. That's a powerful statement right there. I've learned not to get my hopes up. I think about what is, not what could be. I don't know about you, but I like to think about the future. I like to think about exciting things coming. Ivan says he doesn't do that. So think about why would Ivan not look towards the future or not get his hopes up? Think about the situation he's in. The loneliest gorilla in the world. When the Big Top Mall was first built, it smelled of new paint and fresh hay, and humans came to visit from morning till night. They drifted past my domain like logs on a lazy river. Lately, a day might go by without a single visitor. Max says he's worried. He says I'm not cute anymore. He says, Ivan, you've lost your magic, old guy. You used to be a hit. It's true, some of my visitors don't linger the way they used to. They stare through the glass, they cluck their tongues, they frown while I watch my TV. He looks lonely, they say. Not long ago, a little boy stood before my glass, tears streaming down his smooth red cheeks. He must be the loneliest gorilla in the world, he said, clutching his mother's hand. At times like that, I wish humans could understand me the way I understand them. It's not so bad, I wanted to tell the little boy. With enough time, you can get used to almost anything. Hmm. Do you think that's true? With enough time, you can get used to anything? Something to think about. TV. My visitors are often surprised when they see the TV Mac put in my domain. They seem to find it odd, the sight of a gorilla staring at tiny humans in a box. Sometimes I wonder, though, isn't the way they stare at me, sitting in my tiny box, just as strange? My TV is old. It doesn't always work, and sometimes days will go by before anyone remembers to turn it on. I'll watch anything, but I'm particularly fond of cartoons, with their bright jungle colors. I especially enjoy it when someone slips on a banana peel. Remember to be visualizing that. You picture Ivan sitting in his domain watching TV. You should be picturing that, right? It's going to help you understand and comprehend better. Bob, my friend, dog friend, loves TV almost as much as I do. He prefers to watch professional bowling and cat food commercials. Bob and I have seen many romance movies too. In a romance, there is much hugging and sometimes face licking. I have yet to see a single romance starring a gorilla. We also enjoy old Western movies. In a Western, someone always says, "This town ain't big enough for the both of us, Sheriff." In a Western, you can tell the good guys are and who the bad guys are. And the good guys always win. Bob says Westerns are nothing like real life. If you look at that little picture in your book, you can see Ivan's reflection in the TV when he's watching. The Nature Show. This chapter's cool, but kind of sad. I have been in my domain for 9,855 days. Alone. For a while. When I was young and foolish, I thought I was the last gorilla on Earth. I tried not to dwell on it. Still, it's hard to stay upbeat when you think there are no more of you. Then, one night, after I watched a movie about men in black hats with guns and feeble-minded horses, a different show came on. It was not a cartoon, not a Western, not a romance. I saw a lush forest. I heard birds murmuring. The grass moved, the trees rustled. And then I saw him. He was a bit threadbare and scrawny, and not as good looking as I am, to be honest. But sure enough, he was a gorilla. And suddenly, as he appeared, the gorilla vanished, and in his place was a scruffy white animal called, I learned, a polar bear. And then a chubby water creature called a manatee, and then another animal, and another. All night I sat wondering about the gorilla I had glimpsed. Where did he live? Would he ever come to visit? If there was a he somewhere, could there be a she as well? Or was it just the two of us and all the world, trapped in our own separate boxes? Stella. Stella says she is sure I will see another real live gorilla someday. And I believe her because she is even older than I am, and has black eyes like stars, and knows more than I will ever know. Stella is a mountain. Next to her, I am a rock, and Bob is a grain of sand. Every night, when the stores close and the moon washes the world with milky light, Stella and I talk. We don't have much in common, but we have enough. We are huge and alone, and we both love yogurt raisins. Sometimes Stella tells stories of her childhood, or of leafy canopies hidden by the mist of busy songs of flowing water. Unlike me, she recalls every detail of her past. She remembers everything. Stella loves the moon, with its untroubled smile. I love the feel of the sun on my belly. She says, "It's quite a belly, my friend." And I say, "Thank you, and so is yours." We talk, but not too much. Elephants, like gorillas, do not waste words. Stella used to perform in a large and famous circus, and she still does some of those tricks for our show. During one stunt, Stella stands on her hind legs while Snickers jumps on her head. Remember, Snickers is the little dog. The other little dog. It's hard to stand on your hind legs when you weigh more than 40 men. If you're a circus elephant and you stand on your hind legs while a dog jumps on your head, you get a treat. If you don't, the claw stick comes swinging. Elephant hide is thick as bark on an ancient tree, but a claw stick can pierce it like a leaf. Sounds scary. Once Stella saw a trainer hit a bull elephant with a claw stick. A bull is like a silverback, noble, contained, calm like a cobra is calm. When the claw stick caught the bull's flesh, he tossed the trainer into the air with his tusk. The man flew, Stella said, like an ugly bird. She never saw that bull again. Are you picturing that, I hope? Remember, we're trying to visualize? I know it's not the greatest thing to picture, but I'm picturing that elephant tossing that trainer, flying around like an ugly bird, flailing around. The claw stick, though, that sounds like torture. That's scary. For humans, but definitely for the animals, right? Stella's trunk. Stella's trunk is a miracle. She can pick up a single peanut with elegant precision, tickle a passing mouse, tap the shoulder of a dozing keeper. Her trunk is remarkable, but still it can't unlatch the door of her tumbled-down domain. Circling Stella's legs are long ago scars from the chains she wore as a youth. Her bracelets, she calls them. When she worked at the famous circus, Stella had to balance on a pedestal for her most difficult trick. One day she fell off and injured her foot. When she went lame and lagged behind the other elephants, the circus sold her to Mac. Stella's foot never healed completely. She limps when she walks, and sometimes her foot gets infected when she stands in one place for too long. Last winter, Stella's foot swelled to twice its normal size. She had a fever. She lay on the damp, cold floor of her domain for 5 days. They were very long days. Even now, I'm not sure she's completely better. She never complains, though, so it's hard to know. At the Big Top Mall, no one bothers with iron shackles. A bristly rope tied to a bolt in the floor is the only thing that's required. They think I'm too old to cause trouble, Stella says. Old age, she says, is a powerful disguise. Old age is a powerful disguise. What do you think that means? They think I'm too old to cause trouble. To me, that seems like they won't expect anything from the old elephant, or you wouldn't expect the old lady to do something crazy. But you never know. It's a good disguise, Stella says. A plan. It's been 2 days since anyone come to visit. Mac is in a bad mood. He says we're losing money hand over fist. He says he's going to sell the whole lot of us. And then Thelma, a blue-yellow macaw, demands, "Kiss me, big boy." For the third time in 10 minutes, Mac throws a soda can at her. Thelma's wings are clipped so she can't fly, but she can still hop. She leaps aside just in the nick of time. "Pucker up," she says with a shrill whistle. Max stomps to his office and slams the door shut. I wonder if my visitors have grown tired of me. Maybe if I learn a trick or two, it will help. Humans do seem to enjoy watching me eat. Luckily, I am always hungry. I am a gifted eater. Me too. A silverback must eat 45 pounds of food a day if he wants to stay a silverback. 45 pounds of fruit and leaves and seeds and stems and bark and vines and rotten wood. Also, I enjoy the occasional insect. I'm going to try to eat more. Maybe then we will get more visitors. Tomorrow I will eat 50 pounds of food, maybe even 55. That should make Mac happy. That's a lot of food, guys. That's like a couple hundred cheeseburgers. Maybe not a couple hundred, but maybe. That's a lot of cheeseburgers for 50 pounds of it. Bob. I explain my plan to Bob. Ivan, he says, trust me on this one. The problem is not your appetite. He hops onto my chest and licks my chin, checking for leftovers. Bob is a stray, which means he does not have a permanent address. He is so speedy, so wily, that mall workers long ago gave up trying to catch him. Bob can sneak into cracks and crevices like the tracked rat. He lives well off the ends of the hot dogs he pulls from the trash. For dessert, he laps up spilled lemonade and splattered ice cream cones. I've tried to share my food with Bob, but he's a picky eater and says he prefers to hunt for himself. Bob is tiny, wiry, and fast, like a barking squirrel. He is nut-colored and big-eared. His tail moves like weeds in the wind, spiraling, dancing. Bob's tail makes me dizzy and confused. It has meanings within meanings, like human words. I am sad, it says. I am happy, it says. Beware, I might be tiny, but I have sharp teeth. Gorillas don't have a use for tails. Our feelings are uncomplicated. Our rumps are unadorned. Rumps are unadorned. That means there's nothing on his butt. Bob used to have 3 brothers and 2 sisters. Humans tossed them out of the truck onto a freeway when they were a few weeks old. Bob rolled into the ditch. The others did not. His first night on the highway, Bob slept in the icy mud of the ditch. When he woke, he was so cold that his legs would not bend for an hour. The next night, Bob slept under some dirty hay near the Big Top Mall garbage bins. The following night, Bob found the spot in the corner of my domain where the glass was broken. I dreamed that I had eaten a furry donut. And when I woke in the dark, I discovered a tiny puppy snoring on top of my belly. It had been so long since I'd felt the comfort of another's warmth that I wasn't sure what to do. Not that I hadn't had visitors. Mac had been in my domain, of course, and many other keepers. I'd seen my share of rats zip past, and the occasional wayward sparrow had fluttered in through a hole in my ceiling. But they never stayed long. I didn't move all night for fear of waking Bob. There's a sad but precious story right there. Bob had a rough life to start off with. I'm glad he found Ivan's belly in that cave, in that domain. Wild. Once I asked Bob why he didn't want a home. Humans, I'd noticed, seem to be irrationally fond of dogs, and I could see why a puppy would be easier to cuddle with than, say, a gorilla. Everywhere is my home, Bob answered. I am a wild beast, my friend, untamed and undaunted. I told Bob he could work in the shows like Snickers, the poodle who rides on Stella. Bob said Snickers sleeps on a pink pillow in Mac's office. He said she eats foul-smelling meat from a can. He made a face. His lips curled, revealing his tiny needles of teeth. Poodles, he said, are parasites. I like Bob. He's awesome. I'm glad we got to know more about him in this one. Whew. All right, so guys, that is it for today of the reading. That takes us all the way to page 37. Pretty good stuff right there, guys. I hope you're enjoying this. There's going to be some questions and a little discussions kind of thing I'm going to post along with this. So I hope you enjoy it. Again, I really want you to listen to me read. I'm glad if you are listening to this right now that you listen to it. You can also follow along with me as you read. It's really going to help your fluency as you read and help you become a better reader. And I'm trying to show you our model for you guys how to be thinking while you're reading, right? Don't just read with a blank brain. Read, really try to picture this like a movie in your head, right, while you're watching it, or while you're listening to me, or watching your book, okay? So we will have some questions that go with this. I will post another piece tomorrow with activities that we can do with it, and then it'll be the weekend. Okay, so go finish this up. If you're not finished yesterday's 1 through 18, go ahead and open that up and finish that stuff up for me. But have a great day, and I hope you're enjoying it, and I'll see you soon.